Thank you, Karen. Good morning, everybody. I will say golden crownbeard, or cowpen daisy as we call it in South Texas, is one of the monarch's favorite plants in deep South Texas. So along with frostweed, it's a very much relished plant. I was speaking to friends last night who were asking why I was in town and talking about habitat restoration for monarchs, and they said, what's the problem? Just grow more seeds and plant them, and we'll have more habitat, and there'll be no problem, right? And I think the challenge we have to overcome is that it's a lot more complex problem than that. And thank you all for being here and showing up to try to solve it with many of us. I work for a program, direct a program called South Texas Natives and the Texas Native Seeds Project. We are a private and state-funded research and development initiative working to provide native seed sources of pollinator plants, wildlife-friendly plants to use to restore and reclaim habitats in Texas. We've operated in South Texas for about 15 years, the South Texas Natives Project, and in the last 5 years or so have begun to expand and create programs in additional areas of the state. We're right now at the cusp of putting a regional program coordinator in Midland, Texas to engage the energy industry more. Texas, as you know, is a private land state, and engaging those who utilize private lands, such as the energy industry, is a big part of restoration need. We help select and develop native seed sources that we eventually hope to see commercialized for very large-scale uses. Our focuses are the energy industry, private land restoration, and large landowning and operating agencies like TxDOT. Recently, there was a pipeline right-of-way that went from Midland, Texas, all the way to Houston, Texas. There are over 8,000 acres of native seeding along that right-of-way. About 3/4 of the landowners impacted by that right-of-way requested native seeds. Unfortunately, probably only about 1/4 of those areas have the appropriate ecotypes of native seeds available for use in them, and probably over 2/3 of those areas, had you even wanted to plant native milkweeds there, you would not have been able to buy the seeds in those significant of quantities. So our goal is to try and provide some of those native seeds of nectar plants and of milkweeds in limited cases to the entire state. I distilled some of what I perceive as the challenges in this realm of native seed provision. And my colleagues and cooperators that will speak after me will also have ideas, and I suspect many of them will be very similar. But with native seeds, seed quality, supply, and origin are critical. It's oftentimes misrepresented, I think, to entities trying to do restoration that sure, there's native seeds available, buy them, plant them, everything will be fine. Where those native seeds came from, are they of high quality such that they will yield results that are sustainable and that will last and provide benefit, are big questions that must be answered in restoration seeding projects. There's a lot of investment in on-the-ground acre impact. How many acres can we restore tomorrow? There's not nearly as much investment in enabling the provision of seed to allow that on-the-ground impact. I think there are a lot of efforts that are aimed at having that talking point acre impact down the road, but we're not yet at the point where we've enabled a lot of that work to actually occur. The other thing that plays into my response to my friend last night about why can't you just grow more seed, because you can't grow the same seed and use it everywhere. All of these native plants function and exist in the basis of an ecotype. They have local origin to local climates, local soils, local disturbance histories. The example of frostweed blooming too early to the north is a great example of an ecotype. In South Texas, our frostweed will bloom November, December, which tends to be a lot of times when some monarchs are moving through. The same species of plant from the Texas Hill Country will bloom in September. They are locally adapted, and that plays very, very much into native seed provision. Seed quality, I think also is very, very underemphasized in some of our restoration programs. We need to ensure that seeds are clean and that they will actually yield good results. And things like seed certification programs, I think are something that need to be in the discussion when we have it. So what are my suggestions? I think we need to prioritize the need for these milkweed seed sources. Many of you are very, very familiar with the Edwards Plateau of Texas that we're in right now. You're familiar with the abundance of antelope horn milkweed. Effort to grow and restore more of that plant, I think that's something we all can take a look in the mirror and wonder about. But in other areas that are highly fragmented, highly modified, there may be a real need to restore other species of milkweed. For instance, in the Rio Grande Valley of Texas, the first part of the United States that remigrating monarchs come back to, 85% of that landscape is urban or farmland with zero milkweed in it. There may be species of milkweed that could be restored there that would have real and sustainable population level ecological benefits. So we need to do more about where is the demand for those seeds, evaluate it. It informs all of us what to work on as we move ahead. We've got to pay more attention to seed quality and seed origin. If you buy seed for restoration that you don't know where it came from, it's like buying a car without an engine. You don't know if it's going to work, because I assure you, moving seed halfway across the United States or planting a species of milkweed that grows in the Midwest in Texas will fail. It will not work. We also need to do this at a larger level from a cooperative standpoint. There's a lot of small islands of effort, and a lot of those efforts are not coordinating and not talking to each other. Getting us in the room, exactly what this event is doing here today, I think will be very, very productive for the future. We certainly look forward to working with any and everyone to solve this issue, and thanks for having us here and letting us speak.